like a Hellcat.
Hello and welcome back to the channel where once again it's time for another Sega Saturn review, where I thought this week we would follow up last week's review of Sonic Jam by taking a look at another 1997 Sonic game for the system in the form of Sonic R. So once the main menu's here, you'll see you've got Grand Prix, Time Attack, 2-player, and options. Heading into options, it's all the kind of standard stuff you'd expect, selecting the difficulty, whether you want ghosts on or off, checking your best times, loading your data, whether you want vocals for the soundtrack in the game on or off, stereo, mono sound, and then you can go through all the music and sound effects tests as well. So heading into Grand Prix, you will see that you've got a selection of 9 characters in total: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Robotnik once he's been unlocked, and then 4 additional characters which can also be unlocked as well. You've got 5 tracks: Resort Island, Radical City, Regal Ruin, Reactive Factory, and the Radiant Emerald track once that one has been unlocked also. So the setup for the game is very simple. There's 5 characters in each race and you have to win each race. It's that simple. You can collect rings, you can collect speed boosts, you can collect coins, and if you collect all 5 on a level, you'll have an opportunity to unlock another character. You can also collect the Chaos Emeralds, although I point out you need to end first in the race once you've collected one to save it, otherwise you lose it. Collecting all those will unlock another secret character as well. So with all of that out of the way, we need to get on to how this game looks, how it sounds, how it plays, what kind of content and lifespan it's got, and whether it is good enough to make our Sega Saturn top 10. So like we always do, we're going to start with the way the game looks, and Sonic R is pretty pleasant on the eye. I really think it's one of the better 3D racing games on the system, and if anything, it's another example that Sonic could have had a fully fledged 3D adventure game on the system. I said it last week with the Sonic World section of Sonic Jam. It's really frustrating that we've got that and we've got this, but we never got a full 3D Sonic game on the system. I think this game's really colourful. It's quite detailed as well in the graphics, and I really do think it runs well as well. Overall in the looks department, it's actually a really decent looking game. Now, there are some glitches here and there, and there is pop-up, and they've tried to hide the pop-up in some areas with this sort of like fade-in mechanic to the graphics, and I think that actually works really well in general, but on some levels the pop-up will just go boom boom boom, and it will be like that, like on lots of other games on the system too. But overall, in the looks department and the way it runs, Sonic R is pretty good. So moving on to sound effects and music, and what we have here for me is the biggest strength of the game, because you always have fantastic sound effects in a Sonic game. They're all here as you'd expect, but we get some truly fantastic original music written for this game, and I really think it is great stuff to listen to. It's not necessarily stuff you'd expect to hear in a racing game, but it really fits the Sonic environment, and all the tunes, they're catchy, they are lively, and they are really, really good. So I am going to do what I always do and give you some samples so you can listen into these tracks for yourself.
Can you see the sun is shining on me? It makes me feel so free, so alive. It makes me want to survive. And the sky, it makes me feel so high.
So moving on to the way this game plays, and this is where we're going to run into some issues because I don't feel the characters are particularly well balanced. The basic controls are the same for all characters. You can move by either holding B or pressing up, and pressing up to move in this game actually feels natural. It's quite strange with a racing game to say that, but for this, because I'm used to playing a 3D Sonic game, this actually worked. Holding up is fine for me. You steer with the directions. Obviously L and R can be used to sharp turn either way or hold them together to brake, and that is the same for all the characters. But then when they come into their own is with the individual abilities that they've got. Now Tails, Knuckles and Sonic can all jump, which is very helpful in this game without a doubt. Sonic can do a double jump, Tails can fly with his tails obviously, and Knuckles can glide just like he does in the Sonic games. Robotnik and Amy cannot jump, which is a fundamental crippling flaw for those two characters. It really means they struggle on some of the courses, and without a doubt they are the worst two characters to play as on the game. Tails similarly, whilst he can jump, whilst he can do the dash attack as well, his cornering is very, very ropey, and without a doubt you will be playing this game as Sonic or Knuckles 9 times out of 10 because they are the best characters to play as. They're quicker, they turn better, they are just generally the best characters in the game. Now overall, from a gameplay perspective, I do feel the game probably could be tighter, it could handle better. Sometimes your characters might get in a corner stuck and you're faffing around trying to turn around and get out of there, and it slows you down massively. But one thing this game is actually enjoyable to play. Provided you're playing as Sonic and Knuckles, it is enjoyable to play. So moving on to content and lifespan, like I said earlier on, there are 5 courses within the game, so there aren't many and you will race through these really quick. There's actually 10 characters to unlock. I did mention 9 earlier on, but you can get Super Sonic as well if you unlock all 7 Chaos Emeralds and press up on Sonic at the selection screen. You will get Super Sonic. The other characters that you can unlock are Puppet Tails, Cyber Knuckles, Egg Robo and Metal Sonic, and you need to collect the 5 Sonic tokens on the 4 original tracks and then finish in the top 3 and then beat that character in a race. Now for the sake of my video, I haven't actually got that original save data from many years ago. I had to play through the game again and I haven't unlocked those because it can be quite frustrating to locate all 5 coins on the tracks and then finish in the top 3. Now that's something for you to keep going and work towards on the game, and that is really the main bulk of sort of lifespan within the game, unlocking the other characters. The 1-player mode is very simple. It's just simply Grand Prix, where you just choose a race and do it. There's no tournament mode, there's no career mode, there's nothing like that, so it's really, really shallow. You've got the additional time attack modes where you can just race the course and do your time. You can do it in reverse to get your best time. You can go around playing tag with the other characters and collecting balloons as well. These are really little things and they don't give you much entertainment value. There's a 2-player mode as well, but it is just 1 against 1. There's no CPU characters within there, so I feel the 2-player mode is quite shallow as well. And overall, really in the content and lifespan department, this is the kind of game where you can play it for a few minutes and then there's not really anything else to do and you're going to turn it off. It doesn't have any long-term appeal, and this is actually the biggest flaw for Sonic R, even more so than the broken gameplay, the lack of overall content and lifespan. So this brings us to our final questions. Is Sonic R still worth playing today, and does it make our Sega Saturn top 10? Now Sonic R is actually reasonably enjoyable, even though the characters are not well balanced. The game is quite enjoyable to play, especially when you play as Sonic or Knuckles, so in that regard it is worth a little play here and there, and it will give you a little bit of enjoyment. Now, does it have the overall quality to make our Sega Saturn top 10? No, it simply doesn't, and it has the same fundamental flaw that so many Sega Saturn games have, that lack of content and lifespan. I have said this for a lot of games that I reviewed. This game came out towards the end of 1997. People expected more on games by then. If you're dropping £40 on a game and it's only got 5 tracks that you can whiz through in less than 3 minutes each, it's a little bit disappointing. In fact, it's more than disappointing. You're going to feel shortchanged without a doubt, and that is Sonic R's biggest problem. It looks pretty good, it has a fantastic soundtrack, some of the characters play okay, but content and lifespan is where its downfall is. That is it for today's Sonic R review, done and dusted. What are your thoughts on this game? How well do you think it plays? How well do you think it stands the test of time as well? Let me know with a comment down below, and as always, I will be back in the near future with another Saturn review. Goodbye for now.